Today I flew the Vision Jet from Santa Barbara in a very quick flight to the Eaton fire and the Palisades fire. It was about 8 minutes to get there. And the second I left Santa Barbara, it was beautiful. I got in the air about 8,000 feet and I look and it's an apocalyptic hell. As I start to approach the fire, it becomes more and more sobering and real and brings silence in the airplane. I think about things like, what if my kid went to school there and the firefighters are there to protect the school and they turn on the fire hydrant? There's no water there. Like, that's really happening. Do they call the air crews in or they just watch it burn? Where's my kid gonna go to school? I have an electric car. All the car charging stations in Southern California are pretty much down. I'm retired. I'm tired. I don't want to move again. My house just burnt down. What happened to our dog, our cat, our horse? Where are all my friends gonna go? My entire neighborhood is gone. Like, I'm looking at these fires and I can't answer any of that. Devastating. It's crushing of the soul. And now there's over 9,000 structures, and it's way more than that when we're all done, but destroyed. Destroyed. Now what? Where do you begin? Where does it end? The suffering that's happening down there is... Okay, rant over. Back to it. This summer, Stu Sprung, Chief of Flight Operations for CAL FIRE, the largest firefighting fleet in the world, invited me to Sacramento. I looked at the C-130 being brought in. Everything blew my mind. And when this fire broke out, I reached out to Stu. I'm like, you got to let me know what's going on here, because this is a really big deal. And the reason why he could talk to me is he just retired. Thank God he's not in the fight, even though he really wants to. Anyway, here's a few questions to Stu. He's the man. He knows everything about what's happening behind the scenes. Stu, on day one of this fire, the news is talking about there's not a lot of aircraft in the air. And California has the largest air attack fleet in the world. Where were they?
Well, that's a great question. As most people know, that first day, the winds were essentially hurricane force, moving the fire about 5 football fields per minute. There were local agency aircraft making attempts to mitigate the fire, but it was just too much for them. It wasn't until next day when the wind subsided and they were able to bring in additional state and contract aircraft to begin with the real aerial firefighting effort.
On January 8th, I had to fly all the way out to Catalina and stay over the ocean because the turbulence was so bad and the smoke. When I looked down, the waves are insane. There's huge gale force winds over the ocean. It looked like a hurricane below. There's Quebec super scoopers. And these planes actually land on the ocean, pick up water. Like, tell me more about that, because that is something I would not want to do.
The Canadair CL-415 Super Scooper firefighting aircraft are the only purpose-built aircraft for firefighting. These aircraft are owned by the government of Quebec and leased to Los Angeles County Fire Department. It is interesting to see them out over the ocean scooping water. That is a rare sight. These pilots are highly trained seaplane pilots, and they can safely set down in the water, scoop water, and leave. Where that's going to be is on the lee side of anything they can get to. It's kind of hard out there, which also give them enough space for a go-around if it looks like what they're trying to do isn't conducive to the conditions on the water at the moment.
Today I was able to fly over Malibu and Los Angeles because the turbulence had gone down. The winds have gone down a little bit. Friday, they're supposed to pick back up. What is the air attack doing to prepare for when it's calmer right now and when it's going to get crazy again on Friday?
Like everybody else, I hope it doesn't get crazy on Friday, but the priority for the ICs and for aerial supervision would be arresting advancement of any of the fires, containment, and then fortifying any areas for the future that may have a significant life or property threat.
How many aircraft are fighting the fires in Los Angeles right now? And what type of airplanes or helicopters are out there on the mission?
25 to 30 aircraft, and that's going to be a mix of intel aircraft, air tactical aircraft, air tankers, and helicopters.
Now that the fire has moved away from the ocean and it's moving inland, what is air attack and the crews on the ground going to do to try to stop it before any more structural damage and it keeps working its way east?
What the crews are going to focus on now is arresting advancement, containment, and then getting ahead of anything that could potentially threaten life or property. One of the other advantages of having all these aircraft here now is that they can be diverted to new starts, and that actually happened today with the Palisades fire. A lot of the aircraft were diverted to another fire to the north, likely keeping it a lot smaller than it may not have been if those aircraft weren't there to respond immediately.
At this moment, looking south, you can see the very edge of the Palisades fire working its way into Los Angeles. It's really scary. You can see how close it is now to the city. The winds are supposed to pick up really strong on Friday. Praying for everyone down there, like, run, get out of the area. Just going to conclude this with a massive thanks to the firefighters, the air attack pilots, people who ran back in to pull people out. They're fearless. It's an amazing thing that you have the courage to do that. And it just repeats itself through history. So mankind, fight or flight, like the right people are firefighters. I'm so grateful for it. All I can do is put it out on YouTube to let the world know how great you are. Share this with a friend. Show how awesome air attack is. And everybody stay safe. Have a great day.